Isobelle, you're awake. I'm so glad. This would have been rather tedious if you'd remained unconscious. I'm going to take your gag off now. If you scream or shout again, I'll have to gag you once more and possibly cut out your tongue. Not if you understand. In this line of business, you can never be too careful. Where was I? Ah, yes.
What's going on?
Isobelle! If you interrupt me again, I'll have to show you what I do for a living, rather than tell you. So please, refrain from speaking until I'm finished. In this line of business, you can never be too careful. So it was necessary to render you immobile to set up our little tryst. You will feel nauseous, and I'm afraid that horrible headache you undoubtedly have will be with you for some time, but other than that, I can see no obstacle that'll get in the way of us having a lovely afternoon together. Tait?
No. Can I ask who you are and what you want?
You can ask Isobelle. In fact, I think you just did. But I can't tell you who I am, as that would make the events of today pan out rather differently than what's intended. You can, however, refer to me as DeWolfe. What I want will be revealed in good time. Biscuit!
Please take anything that you want. There's some money in the upstairs drawers. It's not a lot, but please, just take it and
By
go.
the end of the night, I'll have taken everything I need to, Isobelle. But you think far too material. I know you're not going to tell anyone what I look like. But that won't be your choice. By the end of the night, you'll realise you're taking our dirty little secret to the grave.
Graves, you're going to kill me. Why are you doing this? I don't understand.
All in good time, Isobelle. All in good time. Now, tell me how you and Josh met. I'm sure the chloroform did not affect your hearing, Isobelle. I said tell me how you and Josh met.
How do you know my husband's name? What's going on?
Now we're just going round in circles, Isobelle, and I do so want to enjoy our time together. However, if you continue to question me, I'll have to take actions that neither of us really want. Don't burn your most valuable bridge before it's been built. Once more, how did you and Josh meet?
We met at university.
You met him at a cafe! A cafe that you were working in, located inside an art gallery in the inner city. He used to come in every day and buy the same drink. A cappuccino with an extra shot, but a pump of caramel to take the edge off. He worked at a nearby insurance broker, also located in the inner city. Now, back to the woman in the cafe. That's your role. An attractive barista that he intended on asking out. Well, when you were clearing tables, he sparked a conversation. The first of many. Now, was that so hard? Next time my actions will be much less benevolent. Pressing on. Where did he take you on the first date?
How do you know that?
I make it my goal in life to appear omniscient. So I'd advise you not to lie to me. However pristinely white you may think those lies perceive themselves. Now, your first date, madam.
We went for a meal and then he took me salsa dancing.
You see, that wasn't so hard. Why'd you feel the need to lie to me, Isobelle? I'm not asking for some kind of expose. Lying makes me very agitated.
It's only because I don't really know too much about us.
You should be aware, Isobelle, that I already know everything about you. When you come home and leave, your favourite colour, your favourite flower, even the name of your first pet. Oh, poor Dusty, hit by an apple red Ford van.
Please stop. Just tell me what you want.
I want you to relax, Isobelle, and have a normal conversation with me. I want to know all about your hopes and fears. What you dream about. What gets you through your completely boring and monotonous days.
I don't understand.
That's because I'm yet to give you any understanding. Nobody's asking you to understand, Isobelle. Just cooperate.
I don't want to cooperate. I want to
Tell
understand.
me about your first kiss with Joshua, with more detail, please.
I still don't even know how you know his name.
Letters! Lots of letters!
But I'll post.
Well, if you feel like your privacy's been invaded, I do apologise. But it's all perfectly reasonable, I can assure you. The kiss, please.
We went to see a film at the cinema. It was The Exorcist. It wasn't the most romantic film I'd ever seen, but Beforehand, he took me out for ice cream and we walked home and we chatted and I held his hand. And then he kissed me.
Was it then that you fell in love with him?
No, it wasn't then. I think it was before that. I never met someone so well put together, someone who made me feel so human. A just genuine connection. If you got down on one knee right then, I think I said yes, but a kiss was enough.
Good. Good, that's much better. How did he propose?
How do you even know we're married?
Many ways. But one is strikingly obvious. I retrieved a ring from the knuckle of your third finger. That's where they keep the symbols of marriage, isn't it?
Please take anything but
Do you
that.
take me for a common thug, Isobelle? A crook, perhaps? What interest would I have in your ring? There's much more valuable things in this house for a petty thief. You shouldn't worry. It'll make you rather uneasy in the conversations to come. Uneasiness leads to conversation.
Why are you talking like that?
Like what? This is merely how I conduct myself, Isobelle. Now, the engagement, please, before we find ourselves on another tangent, weaving in and out of rabbit holes I have no interest in venturing down. Now pull your head out of Wonderland, Alice. Focus.
He had plans to take me up an hot air balloon, but he got cancelled due to being too windy. The weather also made it difficult for the picnic that he planned, but he was determined to make it a special day for me, so we walked down into a cave where he set some blankets and candles, and we had a picnic in there. And afterwards he got down on one knee, and I said yes. Why am I telling you this? If it's not my valuables that you want, is it information?
You're telling me this because you sit there, vulnerable and alone without anyone to save you. And I said posing a threat. I think you've already realised that I'm the only way out of this mess you've got yourself into. And no, I don't want your information. As I said to you before, I'm omniscient. And by saying that to you, I thought I was sending a very clear and obvious message that maybe I already know everything about you. What did he say when he proposed?
I can't remember.
Can't or won't? Surely every woman remembers the promises her man makes on a bended knee.
It was a long time ago.
3 years was not a long time ago. What did he say?
He said from that day forward he'd do everything in his power to make me smile every day. And to keep me safe from harm.
And has he done those things?
Yes.
I'm sorry, I didn't quite catch that, Isobelle.
I said yes.
Where is he now? You see, it seems to me that he isn't keeping you from harm. It seems to me that you're very much in harm's way. As I said, you're in quite the mess.
It's not his fault.
No? I suppose it isn't. Well, we'll just have to wait and see if he keeps that oath of protection.
He won't be back tonight. He won't be back, so please just take what you're after and go.
Another lie, Isobelle! I thought I made myself quite clear. Joshua will be home soon. So if you can refrain from lying for that amount of time, I may refrain from cutting some of that pretty skin off your face. Are we clear? Now, I hope you don't mind, Isobelle. But whilst I was waiting for you to come around, I got up to a few things. One of those things was browsing your record collection. You have some interesting pieces. Do you like Handel?
Yes, I think his music's beautiful.
Beautiful. Perhaps there are still some things left to learn about you, Isobelle. Do you mind if I give us some background music?
Background to what?
Our conversation. You see, I tire rather easily. And when I tire, I start to... And neither of us want me to begin to get tired now, do we?
Play what you want. It's not like I have much control in the matter. How long you been doing this for then?
Doing what, Isobelle?
Well, this. robbing people and holding them
You
hostage.
take me for some mere abductor, Isobelle. I thought you were a better judge of character than that. But it seems you must be still rather clouded from our previous encounter. I'm not a burglar, my dear Isobelle. Nor am I a hostage taker. I'm what some would probably call something like...
Why me? Why me? I've never offended anyone or hurt anyone, not enough to get me murdered. So tell me, please.
You certainly get ahead of yourself, Isobelle. Please, let the story unfold on its own. Now, tell me about work. How did you go from the coffee shop to the art gallery you love so much?
How do you know so much about me?
Isobelle, humans are creatures of habit. It's these habits that sustain our soul from day to day, whether you notice them or not. Some people have lots of little habits, like calling a loved one on a certain day, or visiting a sports match at the weekend. It's these mundane trivialities that keep us shuffling along the mortal coil. They keep us unaware of what awaits us. However, these are also the things that make you such easy prey for a man like me. It gives me a trail to track a chase, sniffing you down like a bloodhound based on the little clues that I can gather from watching at a distance. I need those distractions too, while I myself shuffle along the mortal coil. I often think about falling off it, just how that might feel. But rather than call a loved one or visit that sports match to distract myself, I execute flawless murders of the mind and body, and indulge myself by hunting others and watching them take that journey into the great beyond. It often looks peaceful. Makes me think that maybe we shouldn't be so afraid. I hope you take some comfort in knowing that. It'll be useful for later. Now, tell me about work. Exactly how did you go from the role of barista in a coffee shop to an exhibition attendant at the art gallery? Time is of the essence, Isobelle.
No. I won't play your games any longer. I won't answer questions that you already know the answer to. I'd rather die quickly.
You will do exactly as I tell you, Isobelle. Don't take my patience as a sign of weakness. What happens in this room today will be exactly what I want to happen. Through choice. Or through force. If I ask you a question, you will answer it. If I tell you to drink tea, you'll fucking drink it. And if I tell you to jump, you say, hi, hi. You have no other choices than the ones that I give to you. And further resistance will be met with immediate castigation. Now understand, now blink twice if you understand the consequences of further disobedience. Now, you will wait for me to take my seat, and then you'll begin to tell me exactly how you went from the role of barista in a coffee shop inside the art gallery to the curator of the art gallery itself. Blink twice if that's clear to you.
I always had an interest in art. I used to visit the art gallery on most of my breaks and for hours at the weekend. Art taught me a lot, and so did the people that worked there. Sometimes I'd read up on new exhibitions that would be arriving due to, relocations or tours. Sometimes I'd base some of our holidays around exhibitions. I I got to know the staff, and they started inviting me to the opening of new exhibitions. And it was at one of them I met the curator, and we became acquainted. As soon as the post came available, I called him directly, and the job was practically offered to me on the spot, as it was my home away from home.
And you've been there 2 years now, Isobelle. Very impressive. Very impressive. You and Josh don't have kids. Was that through choice? Or is it because Josh is more of a career man? You seem like you'd make a perfectly good mother.
No, we've tried. I've been for tests, but nothing seems to be wrong. We're still waiting on Josh's tests.
Okay. Very interesting. I take it Josh has been to the doctors a lot for these tests.
What?
Tell me more about Joshua. Was insurance his passion from childhood, or did he just have his dreams crushed like the rest of us? At least he retired his vision for a handsome salary.
No. He had dreams like painting in the hallways, one that he's done. I didn't know this until after we were married. It'd have been a bonus, of course. He just loves to be creative.
You speak with such affection, Isobelle. It isn't hard to see why Josh has made the decisions he has. Has he still got those same dreams, or has he got his eyes set on new aspirations?
Children. He really wants his own children. We have a cousin of mine we visit from time to time. They have 2 boys, Noah and Bradley. He likes to play fight with them and buy them gifts. He'd make a wonderful father.
And what would life be like for Joshua if he lost you, Isobelle? Could he carry on? Would he even want to carry on? Would he kill himself because he failed to protect you? From what I've seen, he seems very honourable.
That doesn't surprise me. You don't understand. Not one bit.
And what would life be like for you, Isobelle, if you lost dear Joshua? What if I was to wring his neck like a pheasant? How would you feel? See, he wouldn't be feeling too much. But how would you feel? Would life be worth living? Would you be able to carry on?
I'd be distraught. I wouldn't know what to do with myself, where to go, but I wouldn't give up on life. That's the last thing he'd want. He'd hate me.
I'm glad to know you're that way inclined. Grateful for life and the fact so many people have it prematurely taken from them. However, I somehow doubt you tell each other everything. Just enough to satisfy curiosity. Now you see, to me, it seems that you can never really know a person. You can live with them for years. Eat with them, lay with them, even love them, I believe. But you can never really know them. Except when you put a knife to their throat. Then you see the person inside. Most cry. Many wet themselves, almost all beg. But then there are the few. The very small few that are unflinching. They stand there stoically waiting for the end to come. Not that it matters, their blood runs out the same way. In a room like this, the cold and the dark will make the blood look black. If you position the light just right, you can imagine your reflection in the blood on the floor. I jest, Isobelle. I jest. There'll be no gazing into blood today. That's not to say, however, that there won't be any bloodshed. It's just that things will be concluded without my usual level of involvement.
What the hell is wrong with you? This is fucked up. You're fucking.
There isn't nothing wrong with me, Isobelle! I see the people and the creatures in this world for what they truly are. Animals! And only the strong survive. That's what our little rendezvous is all about, that journey of survival. And now, we're faced with a situation where one must die so that the other can live. You don't understand me yet, Isobelle, but by the end of the day, you will understand that what I say to you is true.
You'll see.
Then try and aim for the waste paper basket, my honey bee.
Don't call me that. Never call me that. How do you even know about that? That's not written on any of my fucking posts. Get out of my head. Get out of my head.
As you wish, Isobelle. Perhaps we should take a trip into my head then. Give the floorboards in the corridors of your mind a rest. You've been well behaved. For the most part, Isobelle. And you interest me. So I'm going to give you a concession that I afford to very few. You may ask me a question. Just one. And it has to be about me, not about you.
Another game. No thanks.
Come now, Isobelle. But we're getting on so well, don't spoil it. I could always just gag you and leave you in the dark.
Fine. Who was the first person you killed?
Isobelle. You impressed me again. I afforded you the concession, so it would be caddish of me to lie. Yet if I speak the truth, I'll have revealed something to you about myself that could link the events of today to my past. It was summertime, and I'd just been discharged from my unit. You see, it seems I wasn't psychologically cut out for active duty. I was in a small village, in a public house, enjoying the cool breeze on an outside table, when a young thug approached me and asked me for a light. I ignored his request, and he addressed me with a vulgar insult. As he left, I followed him down a small country lane. I was deserted. So picking up a rock and concealing it behind my back, I called to him to say that I had indeed found a light for him, if he still required it. He mooched towards me and muttered some words of thanks. As he drew close, I gave him something all right. I brought the rock down in the back of his skull. He fell to his knees, then his face, and he was barely conscious. Then, after turning him over and sitting on his chest, I stared into the wound as the blood oozed out of it. I looked into his eyes as the last moments of his life ebb away. And I brought the rock down in his face again! And again! Until I could barely feel my hands. Then I dragged the body to a nearby farm and dumped him in a slurry pit, because that's where people like that belong. How was that, Isobelle? Come now, Isobelle, compose yourself. You asked me the question. Josh sees you as a very strong woman. Do you want to prove him wrong?
You know nothing about me. You've seen facts and highlights of that. That's not what makes a person. I am more than my job, my house, my favourite colour. I am more of a person than you'll ever be. Josh knows I'll fight to the very end. You're just a sick little man who has to tie Wiener up to get his kicks.
Bravo, Isobelle, bravo! But you're right. Seems Josh does know you better than I. Except I don't want to know you. You're just something for me to play with, to pass the time. Now keep telling me more about your wonderful husband.
Is there anything I can tell you that you don't already know?
Perhaps, Isobelle. One thing I've gathered from our conversation is that my informant isn't the most trustworthy of characters. But please, let us not bicker as a result of that. That would be a crying shame. What kind of a man is Joshua? You've told me he's well put together, whatever that's supposed to mean. But does he have any secrets, Isobelle? Is he having an affair?
No. No, he is not having an affair. And nothing you can say can make me believe that, so stop with the games. Nobody's having an affair.
No, Josh isn't having an affair. Quite right, Isobelle. Quite right. But he does have his secrets, Isobelle. And by the end of the day, I'll have revealed them to you, whether you believe me or not. And it's those secrets that have brought me here.
Liar. He's none of those things. You're just a monster, and you just want to hurt me, well?
No, Isobelle. I tell you the truth. Now you tell me about Joshua before I become impatient. Do not ignore me, Isobelle! You walk a fine line between being interested and being rude. I will not tolerate the latter! Now keep telling me more about Joshua.
Why are you hurting me?
I'm doing no such thing, Isobelle. I'm the gun, but I'm not the marksman.
But you have a choice. Whatever someone has against me, you'd have to be a part of it. You
Unfortunately, Isobelle, I don't have a compassionate side for you to implore. And if I did have any compassion, it would mean that the events of today would not change. They would end exactly where they're supposed to end today. The events of today are inevitable, Isobelle. All you can do is try and relax and see how this whole thing plays out.
I won't believe that. Nothing is inevitable. Everybody has a choice now to be a monster or a killer. Josh and I could run away. You could tell everyone we're dead. You could help us escape. We'd have to be enemies in this.
That's all sounding very reasonable, Isobelle. If I wanted to be the prime suspect in your sudden disappearance. But unfortunately, you're missing a key piece of the jigsaw in all this. You're just a pawn. The king. Well, he's still to be revealed. Now keep telling me more about Joshua, and we can continue putting this little puzzle together. No will not be an option this time.
Josh grew up in a very poor family. His mother left his father when he was still very young, and it hurt him deeply. He grew up with his father, who was an abusive man. He never had any time for Josh. He would spend all of his time drinking. Josh had to get a job at 14 because his father demanded rent. He paid the rent to his father, and he spent it on booze. Then he went to school and got straight A's. Incredible, really. He went straight from school to work and had to do any homework late at night. And then he went to college, and then university, and then he had to do, he went to college and then university, and he's with the same job, the same brokers ever since he left uni. He likes it because he gets to work alone. I think because he spent so much time alone, he enjoys his own company much more than other people. Please, I'm desperate here. What is it that you want to know? I don't want to be forced to talk to people like you.
Well, that's something we share, Isobelle. I too find it rather hard to tolerate chit-chat, especially with people I'm starting to find rather disinteresting. And I enjoy my own company more than most. I do most of my shopping at night when the cattle of this world watch reality TV or frequent the pub. I much prefer to sit and read. But mostly, I work. I watch people and their routines. Has Joshua ever had any broken bones or illnesses?
What? arm when he was younger, but other than that, he's perfectly fit and healthy. He's one of those people when he has a cold, he goes to work rather than sitting in bed waiting for soup. What's this got to do with anything?
Have you noticed anything about him lately? Has he been more tired than usual? Pale or not eating?
No. He is perfectly well. And he eats very well. What is it that you want to know?
I'm just trying to find out how good of a liar Josh is. To hide something so massive from someone who loves him and knows him so very well is... well, it's quite incredible, Isobelle.
So we're back to the lies again?
So Joshua enjoys his job, Isobelle?
Yes. I told you already, and he's perfectly good at it. But I guess you knew about that already.
You would be correct in saying that, Isobelle. I did already know that. I also know he bought you a new car and took you on a very expensive holiday.
That's right. And do you know what? He worked hard to get where we are. So he said we should treat ourselves. Wait. Is that the situation? Did you get the job over someone? That's ridiculous. If that's the situation, I assure you he will quit tomorrow.
No, Isobelle. And you're jumping ahead in the story again. So after 3 years at the insurance company, Joshua gets a huge promotion. Did he tell you he was applying for it?
No. But it was a big deal and you don't want to get my hopes up.
Does that sound like Joshua? Has he ever hidden anything like that from you before? Has he ever protected you from big decisions before?
No. But this is different. More money doesn't matter to us.
Really, Isobelle, do you think I came up the lagging in a bubble? Even you don't seem convinced with your own response. So after 3 years of marriage, how many big things has he hidden from you? Exactly. Who knows, but all of a sudden he's buying cars and holidays and getting a promotion without even some pillow talk about it.
I know what you're trying to do. You try and turn me against him, well, it won't work. If Josh hid it from you, you'd have a good reason for it. He won't turn me against him.
You're right, Isobelle. He did have a good reason. In his eyes, it was the perfect reason. And probably the only thing that would make him lie to you.
What?
Time for me to come clean. I've certainly had my fun by now. 8 months ago, a young man, let's call him Joshua, shall we? 8 months ago, this young man gets the flu. Nothing to worry about. But that flu didn't go away. He would cough, and even more recently started coughing up blood. So naturally, he visits his doctor, who tells him he would need to go for some tests. The doctor looked very concerned, and this made the young man very worried. Joshua starts to experience a longer list of symptoms. But for every symptom comes an excuse. Joshua loses weight. I'm just going to the gym more after work. Joshua struggles to breathe. Let's buy a new house. The damp in this one's making my asthma play up. Joshua has a lack of energy and is completely fatigued. Busy day at work. Soon after, the doctor calls Joshua to the surgery. Joshua's poor wife thinks he's having fertility tests. But unfortunately for poor Joshua, the doctor tells him that he is dying of cancer, lung cancer. And he only has a few months to live. So Joshua, being a prudent man, got in touch with a friend of his. A man who sold insurance at the same company. He asked him to set up a huge life insurance policy for Joshua and his wife. He tells this friend that it's his wife's idea, and that they're thinking of having kids and they need to plan for the future. The friend sets up this policy and wishes him the best in his pursuit of children, and thinks nothing of it. Now Joshua knows that the insurance won't pay out for this cancer, so he'll need to take more extreme measures. As he took the policy out knowing he was ill, he would need a premeditated plan. The poor wife, being too wrapped up in her own affairs, fails to notice or maybe even care for the changes that Joshua was enduring. And as I said before, he knows the insurance won't pay out for this disease. So he'll leave his wife alone, unprotected. So he gets in touch with a second friend of his, an old school friend that fell in with a bad crowd. Joshua explains the predicament, and this friend says, I have just the man. Enter our hero, DeWolfe. Joshua explains the situation to DeWolfe, and DeWolfe says, I have the perfect plan. He runs through the finer details. A fake botched robbery, the taking of a hostage, and a huge payout from the insurance company, which will be split between the poor wife and DeWolfe. Right after Joshua is accidentally killed in a confrontation. He explains to the husband that he needs to carry on as if nothing's changed. Spend some money, buy a house, a car, make sure the wife has everything she needs for when he departs. They meet again, several times. Our hero thinks he needs to know everything about the poor wife and Joshua, so that the plan goes to perfection, and so that their short interlude together is enjoyable. Well, Isobelle, I've certainly had a great time. And there we pause, with our poor young man about to return feeble and cowardly, and the poor wife confused and angry about the deceit and lies. And lastly, our hero, DeWolfe, who's been the only honest one, who will fill out the last wishes of a friend and protect another in the process. Our poor young man returns.
I am not your friend. I hate you. None of this is true. It's all lies.
I'm afraid not, Isobelle. I am sorry to inform you. Now be quiet. I found myself hoping something about your grand scheme goes wrong, Joshua. I would so love to visit Isobelle again.
This will conclude exactly as planned. If Isobelle so much as glimpses you in the future, she'll have the tools at her disposal to ruin your rather impressive reputation.
Now, Joshua. Let's not descend into angry words before the climax. Do you really think I looked after your little rosebud for you? I brought her world crashing down in your final moments, and I've never felt such an incredible feeling of pride, you maggot.
Climax! Maggot! What is this to you? This isn't some joke, and she isn't some plaything of yours. In that room is my wife, the only woman I've ever loved and my best friend, and if I know one thing, she deserves none of this. None of this treacherous behaviour of me not telling her that I'm dying. You've ruined everything. She's going to hate me for this. I'm doing this for her.
That may be the case, Joshua. But the facts are I'm simply filling out a request. More specifically, your request. If you want to stop now, I can leave and pretend this never happened. But can you? Can you now that I've ruined your life? She told me how much all this made her hate you. It's time for you to die, Joshua.
I should have been a better husband. I always felt like she gave me the world. But
oh, spare me from your eulogy. You don't mean that. That's not the words of a selfish man twisting his wife's life on its head.
Shut up! You're a fucking coward! Do you hear me? I don't know why you think you're some hero in all of this.
Well, I'm certainly no villain.
You don't scare me. Death doesn't scare me. When you go to sleep every night unsure of whether you'll wake again, you forget what fear is. Nothing you can do will make me back out from this. I'm doing this for her own good. You won't break me like you broke her. I need to see her.
I'm not entirely sure that's...
Just give me 5 minutes, please. Have you explained everything to Isobelle?
As you requested, Joshua.
Hi, Izzy. I know this isn't how we saw this ending. I would have loved to have grown old with you, sitting on a park bench somewhere, strolling through art galleries of our Zimmer frames. I know you'll hate me for this, for taking control and not letting you know, but this is the only way that I could make sure that you're safe, to make sure that you're looked after forever. If I'd told you, you'd have talked me out of it. You always could. So please, don't hate me too long. You don't hate the fact that we could have had longer. That's why I took you on the holiday. There was hardly any time left, but at least this way I can... I love you, Izzy. I always will.
Bye-bye, Isobelle. Bye-bye, my honeybee.